Hi, my name is Brett. It is finally October, and I've finally been able to kind of conjure up enough emotional energy to do another one of these things. I thought I've had a long time to think about our thing here, and what I've had to do for a while is strap a Dyson sphere on that or compartmentalize it, which I don't like to do. It just, the amount of energy I get from that is, it's risk reward is not worth it to me. Some people like compartmentalizing. I'm not. Yeah, it's for the birds for me. But when you got to do it, you got to do it. So I've had to Dyson sphere this thing with a bunch of other stuff. So I've been super stressed out, and I thought maybe I could share how to, or at least how I deal with that. But I figured I would have to start from kind of an early point, like primordial point of how I try to get through my stress, which is incredibly high right now. So first, I'd like to talk about dialectical thought, which I have mentioned in other videos. When we're babies, when we're infants, the reason we get such a kick out of peekaboo is because of the difference between dialectical thought and like concrete binary thought. So when you're a baby, you're really just thinking binary, so off, on, right or left, yes, no, that kind of thinking. And so when you play peekaboo with a baby, when you do this to the baby, you're gone. You've left the building. So when you come back, oh hey, they're really excited. So that's that. So as we get older, as we age, our awesome frontal lobe starts developing our natural ability to think dialectically or abstractly. So what that means is instead of like binary, like A, B, yes, no, right, left, we know now that there's a whole bunch of stuff out there, tons of stuff happening all at once. And oftentimes, a lot of that stuff is in direct contradiction of each other, which is hard to deal with. Okay, so that's kind of a real quick version of dialectical thought, is that we are seeing things as they are, which is lots and lots and lots of things happening all at once, and lots of things happening within us all at once, especially emotions. And when we're having those contrasting emotions occurring, instead of experiencing really one or two emotions, we're really at like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 emotions, or can be. And when those are competing or going head to head inside of us, we get overwhelmed feeling. We get all off balance, which is super important for us humans to have balance. So being able to think dialectically is helpful when you're trying to work on this really stressful stuff. And I'll one more caveat to that, is that with dialectical thought, if you stretch that muscle enough, or work it out enough, you can be able to pick out those good things that are happening in life, those things that get shadowed from the really hard things that are happening. Well, we can grasp those and hold them closer and see them for what they are, and it helps fuel us through the hard times. Okay, so dialectical thought's real important with that. The next thing is, this one's a little bit more spiritual. People that see it as spiritual, it has big parts of that is my mentioning of arc light. Okay, so that's another one of my terms. So arc light is really what's happening with, let me start from the beginning. So, even the earliest philosophers, they coined a term called the unmoved mover, God, the thing that that sort of thing. So, in my rendition of it, there's this big explosion. Okay, there's this gigantic thing that happens, and from my perspective, this is God. Basically, God's heart reached critical mass. There was so much love in there, it just it exploded. All right. And subsequent to that, there's the high beam for you. So now high beam is God's love. More accurately, it's God's heart poured out. It's how I see the Hyphy. So, uh, so when this big explosion happened, there was these little things out there, obviously created by God, and this big explosion shot God shard. Okay, God shard. That's my terminology here. So shot that all out. Okay, and in this big explosion, this piece of God shard gets caught up with something else, and they create an elliptical. And then if that is just right, if the elliptical is just right, then bing, arc light happens. And it's this nice, beautiful, pretty thing, arc light. And sometimes it's really intense, and other times it's dim or flickering when it's off balance there. So I guess I don't know if that's making a lot of sense, but you could think of it also, the other words for it are, you could say that God shard is soul, the eternal thing, the thing that does not go out ever, for all time. So God shard, soul, and then the other little thing is spirit. So us are who we are, our essence, our thing, our spirit. So when I'm in pocket and when I got my arc light like pumping, and I'm just in sync, I'm kicking ass and just doing great and being able to flow with things so much easier, and everything feels more natural. And when I'm out of pocket, when my arc light is like dimmed down or flickering, when there's an issue with my eternal side of me, my soul, my spiritual side versus the being of me is, yeah. So I've been experiencing that lately, and it's been tough. And also back to dialectical thought, empathy is something that I talk about all the time, and dialectical thought is vital to empathy. I mean, it's how you're able to put yourself in other people's shoes and share that energy with them. Energy being emotion, sharing that with them, and letting them know that it's okay, that emotion up against the fear, and saying, hey, I can feel that too. So that's empathy. Without dialectical thought, I don't know if you could experience empathy. Maybe that's something somebody knows more about than me. And so, yeah. So with my arc light flickering and whatnot, I've realized now that I am using all of my skills that I have, and it's not I'm still off. Even I've been walking around every day at least 15 minutes with my shoes and socks off, just like I tell everybody, and absorbing what energy I can, forest bathing, doing everything I can. It's still really intense out there, and so I'm going to my big gun. I'm popping smoke. Okay, that's what I call when you fire up your support network. All right, and that's what I'm doing. I'm not necessarily doing this. Well, I guess I am in a way. You're all part of my support network. Like I've mentioned, there's a very specific friends list here. There's only a few folks I don't know, but by association I know them. And so, yeah, you're all part of my support network. And I hope that if you're experiencing a lot of overwhelm, that you think about your support network and who they are and how you can access them. What I do is, this is how I get a support network going. I meet people, and my little heart tether is out there, and sometimes that heart tether hits somebody else's heart tether. All right, and then ding, and you're like, hey, all right, we're chill, this is good, and you give it time, and it matures, and then when I'm ready, I fire a cable onto that sucker. All right, and then now we're talking about juice flow, okay? And when I'm hurting and I'm down and my juice is sputtering, that connection will fire extra juice, and I'll be like, all right, thank you. And when I'm really overwhelmed, that's when I got to fire up a whole bunch of cables. The old cables, the ones with all the moss growing off them, the ones from childhood and midlife and all of that, those strong ones, and really lean on them and share my energy, my emotions with them. And that's very relieving. So this is how I'm trying to get through what I'm experiencing. So take that for what you will, and if it helps, it helps. It's helping me. And here's the thing, even for me, it's hard to ask for help. I fucking hate asking for help. So it's what you got to do it. And here's the thing, keep this in mind, okay? When you help somebody, that feels great. It feels really good, and it's addictive. I really like to help because then I get that good stuff, that good dopamine and the other stuff that comes with it. But here's the thing. When somebody receives help, it is an extra gift, but we never look at it that way. And what I mean by that is that we are giving those people a gift. Those other little God shards glowing away, their arc light going, we're giving them a gift because it's an opportunity for them to feel that wonderfulness of giving freely without any expectation from anything back. Just, hey, I feel you. I want to help if I can, that sort of thing. Or this is what I can do to help. Those things, that feels so great, and that's a gift that you're giving them. So focus in on that. That's what I try to do, is that, okay, I'm doing a good thing here. Me asking for help is a good thing. It's helping them, and maybe it's even helping them ask for help. So it's allow yourself to have those little pleasures. I mean, we all feel guilty, especially as empathic people, feel guilty about that sometimes, about feeling good. We should be always giving it out. Well, can't pour from an empty cup sort of a situation. And lastly, with this whole empath thing, hey, empaths are awesome, and they're not that rare. In fact, you're likely one yourself. And I'll explain mine, the fractal empath, for you. Have you experienced trauma? Have you had trauma in your life? And hey, what is trauma at its very core, if not a loss of identity, a loss of who you are, and having to find that person again, rebuilding who am I? Who am I now that I have this? What is the meaning of all this? That sort of thing. So if that's happened, oftentimes people will close off their heart, that connection to high beam. I mean, our human love that's how we reach, that's the window through to grab onto that high beam. And so if we close that off, and hey, there's nothing, it makes sense, right? The thing that's hurting so much, to shut that down, makes sense to me. But if you leave that open and you reach out, even though after you've been hurt so badly, so very badly, you leave it open, there you go. That's fractal empath. Boom. And how do you know? You test it out. Can you walk into a room and feel the juice flowing? Yeah, well, you're feeling energies, emotions. So there's lots of other things too, but I think I said enough for folks to relate. And so, flex that power within you, that empathic power, the ability to share emotion, to lean on others with your emotion, to have others lean on you with theirs, and get through it together. Because hey, at the end of the day, we're all headed to the same place, and we're all going to get there at the same time. All right, we're pack animals, us humans. That's our thing. There's, back in the old days, like 150 years ago or so, there was some really rank tests being done on kiddos and giving them everything that they needed, except for one thing: human contact. Look it up. It wasn't pretty. Okay, so we need it. We need to be with others. Now, whether you're introverted or extroverted, it just means you need to be with your people, the people that you can let your guard down and let that arc light spill out, and that all of that pain, huge flares of arc light coming out, and letting them get hit by it because you trust them, because you know that they understand what's going on and that they can share some of that with you. And they're going to call you out on your bullshit too. That's where you run a cable. All right. So I hope all that helped. That's what I'm trying to do. So a lot of my support network's been getting calls, and don't feel like you're not part of it if I haven't. It's because I'm so damn overwhelmed. I'm sputtering. So but I'm getting there. Starting a new job ain't easy. Dealing with all this stuff that's going on ain't easy. So I'm in the same boat as y'all. We're all in the same boat. So lean on your folks. Okay. All right. Well, until next time, and I have a great thing for next time, or next couple times. I want to talk about shadow fae. Boy, I got a positive affirmation from a shadow fae this summer. Blew my mind. I'm still buzzing from it. It was like midsummer. And then also Woody the Water Empath is coming up at some point. That's a great one. So fellas, you'll really like that one. All right. Well, I hope everyone's doing well, and my thoughts go out to everyone that's struggling, especially down in Florida and everywhere else. Just I'm feeling you. Maybe I'm feeling you a little too much. Maybe you're feeling me a little too much these days, but we'll get through it. We're still Americans. All right.